Welcome to Strategic Management course. In this video, we will discuss Porter's 5 forces model. What is this 5 forces model? The main idea of an enterprise is to earn a reasonable profit to survive and grow. The profitability of an organization depends on the profitability of the industry in which the enterprise is located and the relative competitive positions of the enterprise in the industry. Porter's 5 forces model brings together a large number of different factors in a very simple way to analyze the basic competitive landscape of an industry. Let us look at the Porter's 5 forces model. What are those 5 forces? First one, though not in any order, the threat of new entrants. Number 2, bargaining power of buyers. Number 3, threat of substitute. Number 4, bargaining power of suppliers. And 5th, rivalry among the existing competitors. What are the factors that affect the threat of new entrants? The factors that affect the threat of new entrants are barriers to entry, economies of scale, brand loyalty, capital requirements, cumulative experience, government policies, access to distribution channel, and switching costs. For example, if the switching cost is low, the customers might switch from one brand to another without any hesitation. So that is an inducement for the new entrants to come in so that they can gain a foothold in the industry. If it is otherwise, that is, if the switching costs of the customers are very high, then the customers will not switch from one brand to the another very easily. So that would be a discouragement for the new entrants because gaining a foothold will be very difficult. Though I have just described only one factor, one has to consider all the factors, take them into consideration before deciding on the full threat of the new entrants. Similarly, the bargaining power of buyers. The bargaining power of buyers depends on factors such as number of customers, size of each customer order, differences between competitors, price sensitivity, buyers' ability to substitute, buyers' information availability, and switching costs. Similarly, taking one example, let us take the size of a customer order. If a customer gives huge order, then he will have a better bargaining power with the industry, and so the industry will be at a disadvantage. If the customers are going to buy only very small, then the bargaining power would be less and the industry will have a upper hand. Similarly, next goes to the threat of substitutes. Threat of substitutes means if a product can be substituted by another product. So the factors that would affect them or affect it are number of substitute products available, buyer propensity to substitute, relative price performance of substitute, perceived level of product differentiation, and again the switching costs. So buyers propensity to substitute. Suppose the people are hesitant to substitute one product with the other. Let us say, for example, sugar. If people are not interested in substituting sugar with sugar-free products, then the threat of substitute will be less. But if the people have no hesitation in switching and substituting sugar with something else, maybe with sweeteners, with sugar-free substitutes, or with jaggery, etc., then the threat is very high. Similarly, now the bargaining power of suppliers, which is exactly the opposite of what we saw with the bargaining power of buyers. If the number of suppliers, that is, the factors affecting the power of suppliers are the number and size of suppliers, uniqueness of each supplier's product, focal company's ability to substitute. So similarly, suppose a product which is being supplied by a supplier is very unique and which cannot be substituted, then the supplier will have an upper hand. So that is how we need to calculate the bargaining power of the suppliers. Last but not the least is a rivalry among the existing competitors. The rivalry among the existing competitors would depend on the number of competitors, diversity of competitors, industry of concentration, industry growth, quality differences, brand loyalty, barriers to exist, and switching costs. So if the customers are highly brand loyal, then the rivalry will also be less because the people who are loyal to a particular brand will continue buying that particular brand. So that is how we calculate the rivalry among the existing competitors by taking into all these factors into consideration. So for a company to understand its profitability and its competitive advantage, the company has to take all these five forces into consideration, and that is what we call it as Porter's five forces. So that was all about Porter's five force model, and thank you for listening.